to our class in communication, public relation, and protocol. And today I will share about the definition of communication. You will check my video after this.
Okay, first of all, we're gonna talk about communication. The root of the word communication in Latin is communicare, which means is to share or to make a common. Communication is defined as the process of understanding and sharing the meaning. At the center of the study of communication is relationship that involves interaction between participants. This definition serves us well with the emphasis on the process, which well examined in the depth across the text of coming to understand and share another point of view. Communication is simply the act of sending information from one person or group to another. The exchange of communication varies from person to person depending on the needs of the situation. Communication is a process of exchanging meaningful message through the use of common symbol. So we begin with the first keyword of communication is the process. A process is a dynamic activity that is hard to describe because it change. And the second keyword is understanding. Understanding is to understand, to perceive, to interpret, and to relate our perception and interpretation that we already know. And the next word is sharing. Sharing means doing something together with one more person on one more people. You may share a joint activity. So, in communication, sharing occurs when you convey thoughts, feelings, ideas, insight, or anything to other person. Okay, next we're gonna talk about the communication model. The communication model, first of all, we're gonna talk about the linear communication. What is the linear model of communication? Linear communication model suggests the communication take place in one direction only. The main element in this model are the channels, the sender, and the receiver. We're gonna talk first about what is actually channel, sender, receiver, stimulus, and etc. First of all, we're gonna talk about the stimulus. What is actually the stimulus? Stimulus is something that triggers a reaction stimulus, cause a need to communicate, thus there must be stimulus of communication to occur. When a sender receives a stimulus to send a message, the brain begins to process what need to be conveyed. This process of acting on stimulus it called encoding. Next, we're gonna talk about sender and receiver. Sender is encode the message by turning the codes into manual language and then deliver the message to the receiver. In the communication process, the sender is in charge of selecting an intended message and encoding it. Receiver decodes, interprets, and responds to the message of the sender. The receiver may individual or a group. When there is two-way communication, the receiver of the message give the original sender a response of or feedback. In the communication, there's noise in the process. Noise is anything that disrupt the communication process. Any barrier or hint range that prevents the message from being understood. Noise can be physical, such as loud music in the background, but it can also caused by many other sources. Noise can interfere with the communication by drawing the recipient attention away from the message. So, noise can be sourced by yourself, maybe when you're talking, when you're thinking while talking, and it can be physical and or environment that where you talk with a person that you talk. Okay. Next we're gonna back to our linear communication model. Okay, that's this is a linear communication diagram model. It's illustrate the communication is model is pretty straightforward. The sender to receiver. They simply put the sender and transmit the message via a channel. The channel as the medium change the message into the speech, writing, or animation, or speech, or anything. The message then finally reach the receiver who decode it. And we already mentioned the three most important prominent linear models of communication, and now it is time to analyze each one of them model. There is Aristoteles model of communication, uh, linear communication model. Wait a minute. Okay, this is communication model from Laswell. Okay, Laswell, the Laswell communication models views communication as the transmission of a message with the effect of as the result. The effect in this case is the measurable and obvious change in the receiver of the message that it caused by the elements of communication. If any of the element of change, the effect also change. Where are the main effect? Where are the main elements of Laswell communication model? Laswell model aims to answer the following five questions regarding its element: Who create the message? What did they say? What channel did they use? To whom did they say it? What effect did it have on the receiver? And the answer of this question over us to the main component of this model. First of all is communicator, a message, a medium, audience or receiver, and the effect. So, which of the question it's represent the following answer of the question. Who is to the communicator, says what is to the message, in which channel is to the medium, to whom is from the receiver, and with effect is from what effect that come when the less well communication is happen. If we take a look at the less well communication model diagram below, we can get a better understanding of how the main component are organized. Okay. Next, we gonna talk about the Berlo SMCR communication model. Berlo model of communication was the first defined by David Berlo in the book of the process of communication. What is actually Berlo SMCR communication model? It's a linear model of communication that suggests communication to transfer of information between four basic steps or elements. What are the main elements of Berlo CMCR communication model? As shown the Berlo CMCR communication model diagram, these steps are following. First is source for S, uh, M for message, C for channel, and R for receiver. First step is the source. The source are the sender carefully put their thoughts into the words and transfer into the message to the receiver. So how does the sender transfer information to the receiver according the Berlo SMCR communication model? With the help of communication skill, first and foremost, the source needs a good communication skill to ensure communication will be effective. The speaker should know when they pause, what to repeat, how to pronounce a word, and etc. Secondly, it's attitude. The source needs to right attitude. Without it, not even a great speaker would ever emerge as a winner. The source needs to make a lasting impression on the receiver, and the attitude need to be shown when they talk to the receiver. Knowledge. Knowledge does not refer to educational qualification, but to the clarity of the information that the source want to transfer to the receiver. Social system. The source should be familiar with the social system which communication process take place that will help the source not to be offend anyone. And lastly, it's culture. Last, to achieve effective communication, the source needs to be know the culture in which communication encounter is taking a place. This is especially important to cross-cultural communication. Second step is the message. The message have key factors. The firstly is elements, structure, content, treatment, and code. We gonna talk about the content first, simply, but put the script on the conversation. So the content, it's what actually you gonna say to the receiver. In the elements, which alone is not enough for the message to be fully understood. That is why other elements have to be taken into account: gesture, body language, facial expression, etc. Treatment: the way the source treat the message. They have to be aware of the importance of the message so that they can convey it appropriately. Structure: the source has to be properly structure the message to ensure the receiver will understand it correctly. And the last is code. All the elements transferred by the code, verbal or non-verbal, need to be accurate. If you don't want to the message to get distorted and misinterpreted, you need to code all the elements that you want to share to the receiver. The third step is channel. To get the source of the receiver message goes through the channel. Berlo SMCR communication model identifies all our sense of our channel that help us communicate with one another. Our sense of hearing let us know that someone is speaking to us. Through our sense of taste, we gather information about the spiciness of the sauce we are eating. Our sense of sight allow us to decipher traffic sign while driving. We decide whether we like certain perfume or not by smelling it. By touching the water, we feel the water, so it called for a swim. So the channel, it's all of your sense. You use your eyes, your ears, your mouth, your smells, your nose, and etc. Step four is the receiver. A receiver is a person the source is speaking to, the destination of the convey the message. To understand the message, the receiver should involve the same element as the source. They should have a similar communication skill, attitude, and knowledge, and acqu- acquainted with the social system and culture in which they communicate. So the receiver need to have a same common skill, attitude, knowledge, social system, and culture as the source have. So the message not disrupt or not gonna disrupt by the noise. That's the Berlo CMCR communication model. And now we gonna go to the interactive model of communication. It's interactive model communication is actually is used in with actually we look the interactive communication model in the internet base, like a chatting or comment in the social media. As a more dynamic model, interactive communication models revert to way of communication with the feedback. However, feedback with the interactive communication model is not stimulus, not but rather slow and indirect. The main element of this model illustrate in the interactive communication model diagram. Let's see in the diagram we have a sender, a message, a receiver, a feedback, and come back to sender. And we will look at the receiver field of experience and sender field of experience. The field of experience represent a person culture, past experience, and personal history. All of these factors influence how the sender construct a message as well as how the receiver interpret. Every one of us bring a unique field of experience into the communication situation. We have already mentioned the most another way interactive model of communication. And we're gonna talk about all the model about interactive communication model in next video. So thank you for your time, and thank you for watching this video. Uh, we gonna see you again in another section. We talk about interactive communication model.
Okay, so that's it about the communication process, and I will tell you again. We can share about all the communication, public relation, and protocol process in this field. And thank you for watching my video, and I'll see you in the next video. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.